The issues of data goes a long way in making that we are planning well, because you can't plan if you don't know how much resources you have, how much facilities are there, in what state. So the data that is there is assisting so much in planning.
The activity itself was done on the ground, reaching out to each and every water point, either improved or unimproved, but it was all mapped, and then sanitation facilities were also mapped together so that we can see the difference, maybe the near proximity between the two.
The Climate Justice Fund project has so many subcomponents, and some of them include deliberate programs that were put in place to make sure that the University of Strathclyde, with the Scottish government support, was inviting technocrats from Malawi to travel to Scotland to learn issues of hydrogeology, so that by the end of the day we are having so many technocrats countrywide who are able to follow on the groundwater related activities. Now this program has deliberate also subcomponents which are directly linking to trying to make sure that we understand issues of salinity and also issues of fluoride, and coming up with maps for the country to show what we can expect to encounter.
We also have given some data, especially on functionality, with the Malawi government portal, which is known as MassDAP, which you upload the data online so that people can check, because it is the focal point of government data online.
So as United Powers, it has benefited us a lot, especially through capacity building and our staff, such that we are able to employ the use of the mWater platform, which was one of the tools which was being used in the program in mapping water points. We also piloted to use the platform in assessing how some of the interventions which we are implementing are contributing towards SDG 6. So learnings from that initiative as well have helped us to also know how much we are contributing.
Any scientific review requires also evidence. So, as I said, during the consultative process revising of the national water policy, we have engaged the academia, we have engaged the NGOs, we have engaged many other relevant stakeholders for their input. Plus, we have been receiving students from University of Strathclyde in Glasgow, Scotland, who were coming here on master's and PhD programs, maybe doing their thesis. Now these have been publishing their articles and thesis maybe in scientific journals that have been read globally. But also we took upon ourselves as a country to consider some of the salient and outstanding articles.
With climate change, we have had droughts, and then there's groundwater depletion in the ground surface, and we are kind of like now being forced to go into looking at deeper aquifers. It has also changed the amounts of water that we want, because with floods and then the droughts, we have to the people have to change a lot of things, maybe the type of food that they are now supposed to be having, or maybe the type of crops they are supposed to be growing.
But by the end of the day, we are trying to come up with facilities and structures which are resilient to these shocks. But at the same time, make sure that we are making available water resources for the country without depleting the environment for the sake of future generations.